What did you think about Cam Newton's first game as a New England Patriot?
I was excited. I'm rooting for Cam Newton. I think that, a guy who took a lot of time to sign with the team, it seems like nobody really wanted him. And people kind of forgot that he's an MVP player. I thought he played an excellent game against the Dolphins, and his role as he gains confidence and the coaches gain confidence in him, it's just going to continue to expand, and you're going to start seeing, the great player, the MVP type player that Cam Newton was.
I love Cam Newton, and I think he's going to help the Patriots figure things out, especially offensively. He gives you a different dialect on the field. He gives you an understanding that you have a running quarterback now, something that Tom Brady couldn't do inside and out of the pocket. Now you have a guy that can run inside the hashes, move, and you can use him as a running back. You could do a lot of things with Cam Newton that the Patriots haven't had in 20 years. So I think he's going to change the offensive style of game of the New England Patriots. Seattle, I know you love Seattle. What did you think about Seattle week number 1 knocking off the Atlanta Falcons?
I thought they were tough. They played excellent on defense. Obviously they gave up some big yards because they had a lead at the end of the game, but Russell Wilson is a star. One of the guys who should be in the MVP race every year. He threw a great pass on 4th and 5 to DK Metcalf. It's just some phenomenal players. It was great to see Jamal Adams flying around, playing for another team. I was a little jealous, a little upset that he wasn't doing that for the Jets. But after Marcus May's play, I felt comfortable. But, Jamal definitely looked like himself. He looked like that great player, explosive player that he was for the Jets for 3 years. And he's going to fit in well in Seattle.
Oh, I love Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is, if not the best quarterback in the NFL, he's up there with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. You can argue that. As good as Patrick Mahomes is, Aaron Rodgers was the guy that really impressed me in week number 1. He was the best quarterback in week number 1. But the Baltimore Ravens, what did you think about the Baltimore Ravens? We know how good they are. We know how good Lamar Jackson is with this offensive line. What did you think of week number 1's win?
Oh, I loved it. They showed that they show why they're one of the best teams in the NFL last year. They're a physical bunch, offensively and defensively. They ran all through the Cleveland Browns. They shut down Baker Mayfield. They made him, they made a lot of people question whether he should be the starting quarterback of the Browns or not. And they did what they were supposed to do. They went out and dominated.
Speaking of the Cleveland Browns, last night on Thursday Night Football, Odell Beckham absolutely woke up. We finally saw the real Odell Beckham. 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield actually made some good throws, and the Browns won week number 2 against a very talented young quarterback. Let me tell you.
It was funny. It was funny, that happened because one of my buddies called me before the game and was like, what are you expecting out of this game? And I said, Baker Mayfield's going to, play a good game. Odell Beckham's going to have a breakout game against an inferior defense, and everybody's going to put them back on top, and they're going to be this great thing when in actuality they played a very weak Cincinnati Bengals team with a rookie quarterback who's playing, his second game of the NFL ever.
61 passes he threw yesterday, Joe Burrows. He was fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. But, there's a lot of things that he has to learn about the NFL game.
Of course. I like Joe Burrows. He's really impressed me the last 2 weeks. He's been sensational. His team's a little weak, but they're rebuilding right now. Kansas City, obviously they're playing the LA Chargers this week. What did you think about week number 1's win?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, listen, they played a very good Houston Texans team, and they were dominant. Patrick Mahomes was throwing the ball. That rookie running back they have was balling. The offensive line of the Chiefs was dominant. Eric Bieniemy called an excellent game. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I think he should be a head coach, and there's no doubt about that. They showed why they're Super Bowl champs, and I'm excited with the way that they played because – typically when a team wins a Super Bowl, there might be a hangover, but this team was all about their business, and you can tell they were ready to get back for the next year and hit full stride.
I'll tell you what team really stood out to me was the Washington football team. They were fantastic. You could say whatever you want. This is a team that's not expected to win. They're rebuilding. Their defense showed up in the 3rd and 4th quarter. You saw what Chase Young could be, and Haskins had a fantastic game. Ron Rivera is one of the most underrated coaches in the NFL, and teams follow him. Players follow him, and the leadership really shows on the field. This isn't Jay Gruden. This is a completely different head coach, and I see the players actually following his lead, and I really like the Washington football team. I think they're going to cause a lot of problems for the Arizona Cardinals this week.
Yeah.
being that it's going to be in Arizona?
Yeah, Ron Rivera is a well-respected coach, very good person, and he the kind of players that he's going to have in his organization are going to be tough. They're going to be accountable, and I feel like they got rid of a lot of the bad apples that were in that organization. So it was great to see them fight back and come back and win that game. Haskins played some good football. The defensive line, I want to say they had 8 sacks on the Eagles, and it was just to beat the Eagles like that. I don't think anyone had the Redskins doing that, or had the Washington football team doing that, and it was just great to see.
Arizona was fantastic, too, against San Francisco. A lot of people think San Francisco is going to be a Super Bowl contending team again this year. I do believe they are. A lot of injuries, but Arizona took it to them. You saw it, and Hopkins, the reason why they made that trade in the offseason was bringing in one of the most explosive wide receivers in football. I love what Arizona is, and I do believe, as much as you think they're a pretender, I think they're a contender this year in the division.
Yeah, I do too. I think that, Kyler Murray in year 2, with Hopkins and Fitzgerald and the players that they have, it's going to be exciting to watch them play. I mean, to watch Kyler Murray run around the field, create all the havoc that he was doing, it was awesome to see, and I'm excited to see them. And I hope, that DeAndre Hopkins continues on this pace.
2 teams that really stood out to me that didn't play well in week number 1 was Minnesota and Indianapolis, which are playing in week number 2. Indianapolis, which Phillip Rivers always starts off slow, and you saw it in week number 1. They played a team that they should have beaten in Jacksonville. I don't want to hear any excuses from the Indianapolis Colts. They should have won week number 1. Jacksonville is expected to lose this year with waiving off of Leonard Fournette and some of the players that they traded in the offseason. They're not expected to win and losing against a team that they're definitely superior, not inferior to, was completely incredible what we saw. And Minnesota, I know they played Aaron Rodgers. You could say whatever you want. Minnesota offense needs to wake up. In the big parts of the fourth quarter, they just completely disappear. And Cousins, who I like, Kirk Cousins, I think he's a great quarterback. This guy in the late parts of the games where you need to win and you need to depend on the quarterback, he doesn't show up to the games. And you are outplaying and getting beaten down by a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. He really stood out. Aaron Rodgers, if he plays like he did in week number 1 against a very good defense like that against Minnesota, Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP this year. He's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I said when they drafted a quarterback in the first round, the NFL is in trouble this year. Because they're going to get the best of Aaron Rodgers. He got a chip on his shoulder. He's still got a ton of talent left, and he really did come out and clicking on all cylinders. I mean, he was firing the ball. And I've seen that Aaron Rodgers before, unfortunately. In 2011 when I played for the Falcons and we were a wild card, they were a wild card team. We were the NFC South champions, and they ran through us like track tape. They ran through the rest of the league. They won the Super Bowl, and it was just great to see Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers again. So, I'm expecting great things for him all year.
I know you picked them. You say that they could be Super Bowl championship this year, and it showed. It showed in week number 1. Tampa, say whatever you want. Tom Brady didn't look like Tom Brady in week number 1. He didn't throw over 300 yards. He has a lot of injuries. You're talking about possibly 2 of his starting wide receivers being injured in week number 2. And Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions. He did not play well, Eric. And going into week number 2 in a different kind of offense, I said this is not Bill Belichick's offense. This is Bruce Arians' offense. It's a completely different offense. And you saw that Tom Brady, his head wasn't in it. It wasn't in the game in certain aspects of the game.
Yeah, it was, there was some exciting. You saw the fire of Tom Brady. He's still there, and he'll, this is a new offense for him. This is something different. So I think it's going to take some time, but I do think that, they played against a great team in the Saints. But, it's kind of strange watching Tom Brady play on a team that has unforced mistakes, that has mental mistakes and players doing some dumb things, because typically when you see Tom Brady out there, he's playing for the Patriots, and this is a team that they never beat themselves. And to see the mental mistakes of the Buccaneers, to see some of the breakdowns that they had defensively and offensively, it was disappointing. And you kind of hate to see Tom Brady, playing under those circumstances.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I do. As a guy who played against him and didn't like him for a long time, I have a ton of respect for him. And but I am confident that they will pick things up and they'll get it on the right track.
And another team, before we make our picks and before we go to break, there was one team that really stood out to me throughout the week number 1, that really pissed me off, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team, they made all those acquisitions. They brought Darius Slay in, who's arguably one of the best corners in the league, and they just put up an egg against the Washington football team. They put up an egg. And Carson Wentz might lose his job because Jalen Hurts is sitting right now on the bench licking his chops. If Carson Wentz doesn't win in the next 2 weeks, he might lose his starting job. He might not be the starting quarterback of this Philadelphia Eagles team moving forward. It's crazy to say this, but Carson Wentz needs to wake up. He needs to win this week against a very good LA Rams team, Eric.
Yeah, it's a what have you done for me lately league. And unfortunately for Carson Wentz, the last year he didn't end it right. He didn't play well week 1. And you hate to see that. You hate to see a player like that just play that poorly. And he better pick it up. I agree with you that I don't know if it's going to be the next 2 weeks, but, you look at the bye week, teams really evaluate the first half of their season. And if he doesn't pick things up, then, he could be in trouble.
All right, Eric, I'm up 2-1 right now. You were 1-2 the first week. I'm going to let you go first. I went first last week. You picked 3 games this week. And who do you got? And Speedy's taking charge. And whoever loses this year in our picks has to take us to dinner. Or I might have to take you guys to dinner. We'll see. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
All right. Eric, you go first.
All right. My first game, I'm going to go with the Saints and the Saints and the Raiders. And I got the Saints in this one. I know they're not going to have Michael Thomas, but, Drew Brees, one of the most accurate quarterbacks this league has seen. And the way that they play on defense, I'm going to go with New Orleans.
Your second game?
My second game, I'm going with this is a tough one. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Packers and the Lions. And I got Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
What you do? You need to get wins, man. You need to get some wins.
Hey, I need some dubs, man.
I know you do.
And then my last game, I'm going to go with the LA Rams and the Eagles. I think that the Eagles will be more competitive than they were last week. But the Rams are a machine. And the way Jared Goff was playing, Cooper Kupp is healthy. He's playing well. I think I like the Rams.
All right. So I got Minnesota and Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis will show up into this game. And Minnesota cannot lose back-to-back games, especially in the division they are in. I'm going to take Minnesota in this game. I think it's going to be a close game. It could come down to a field goal. Indianapolis will fall 0-2 in their division, where a lot of people thought they could win the division. So I'm going to take Minnesota in my first game. Atlanta and Dallas. I got Dallas in this game. I do. I think Dallas will show up in this game, being that it's in Dallas this week. Atlanta's a team that I think they're very explosive, and they're going to score a lot of points. I don't like Dallas's defense. They did lose Esh to an injury. What was it, collarbone? I think it was a collarbone. He had surgery. He might be out for 8 weeks. So their defense is right now in a state of flux. I don't know what this defense is going to be moving forward, especially as secondary. But I like Dallas in this game. I think Dallas will play hard, being that they're at home, and they will win this game in a very close game, 21-17. And I'm going to go with Washington and Arizona. I got Arizona in this game. I think Arizona is for real. I really do. Kyler Murray, they're explosive. Their offensive line looks better this year. They have a great defense. They can get at you in all different ways. Their secondary is fun to watch. They're really, really fun. I think they're going to – I would say this is going to be a close game early in the game, and I think they're going to start to explode in the second half with Kyler Murray, the way he runs the ball. I'm going to take Arizona in this game 27-21.